Hello, welcome back to the Football Rundown, where to talk about, well, a bit of pre-match, I suppose, a bit of a preview. I thought I'd do it live instead of through a video format. Big game, obviously, tomorrow, Sutton versus Stockport County. Massive game for us, an opportunity to try and get another 3 points on the board, obviously. And I believe if we win, was it 5 wins and we'd secure the title, 3 wins and we secure automatic promotion. So it's a massive few weeks, obviously, in the last few weeks of the League Two season. Obviously, that promotion running, it's going to be big, and obviously Sutton tomorrow presents a decent opportunity to grab 3 points away from home, albeit. And obviously Sutton have won 4 of the last 4, which isn't great for Stockport County, but you'd expect that we'd be able to, that we'd be able to win the game. Just sort of try and get the live chat up. Hopefully people are tuning in. It was a bit of an unexpected live stream, to be honest. It was a little bit last minute. So hopefully people are doing well. And like I say, I'm looking forward to the game. Obviously, I won't be able to watch it, but I'm looking forward to keeping up with the game and looking forward to hopefully seeing Stockport County get 3 points on the board against a team which really and truly we should be beating. But as I've said many times before, it's League Two, and League Two presents difficult opportunities when you least expect it. And I think the big thing that I was going to speak about today was the comments that Dave Challin's made ahead of the game, which has just come in about in the last half an hour, which is regarding Louie Barry, obviously heavily expected to be involved in the game tomorrow, but certainly by Tuesday. And obviously he's come out and said today that won't be the case, that he won't be available for the game tomorrow. And will he be available for Tuesday? Possibly, but there's no guarantee even for Tuesday, which is a bit disappointing, because I think many fans were hoping that we would have Louie Barry available for the game tomorrow, and I think he would have given us a massive boost. Obviously, we're playing, against a team which really we should be beating even with the players you got available to us. But obviously, he would have provided a massive boost, and it's a disappointment that he's not available. So we'll have to see how that goes with Louie Barry. Obviously, it's something we've got to work with Aston Villa on as well, to see whether or not they're happy to have him obviously play games. He's obviously their player ultimately, and they will want what they feel is the best for him. And if that's to maybe sit out of a few games first, then that's ultimately what's going to happen, which is obviously disappointing from a Stockport County point of view, but we have to accept it. And as I say, hopefully he'll still come in and provide some goals and some obviously some memorable moments along the way when he comes in. Obviously we're probably looking at Tuesday now more than Saturday, which is disappointing. But as I say, I think tomorrow, as I say, Sutton 4 wins in the last 4, but it's Stockport County, and we beat them 8-0 last time, and we shouldn't be blinded by that. We know that we're in a more serious position in the League Two season now. We know that Sutton have probably got a lot more to play for now. It feels like more than they did at the time. Not that they weren't playing for points at the time, but the later it gets on in the season, the more aware you are of the position you're in, and the more aware you are of the points that you need to get. And Sutton will be trying to stay in League Two, and obviously they will not want to recreate that 8-0 performance that they had at Edgeley Park back in December. So I do think it will be a tougher game. You'd hope so. From their point of view, they'll be certainly hoping it's tougher than 8-0. But I just think County got to do what they've been doing, which is, in the last few games, largely, really, we've been quite patient in games. Even against Forest Green, where we managed to score 3 goals, I still felt that it was a very patient approach to the game, and I think that served us well in that game. AFC Wimbledon on Monday was particularly a patient approach, and again, it's suited as it works for us. We got the all vital goal late on, which I think if County can keep providing them 1-0s, them narrow wins, then that will probably lead us to the League Two title. What we don't want to be doing is going in thinking we've got to win by 3 or 4 or 5 goals, because if we go in for the attack, we could be picked by a Sutton side, which, as I say, will be looking to try and stay in the game for as long as possible. And we know the quality of teams in League Two. We know that 24th can get a decent result against the top of the table if we're not careful. So whilst we should be beating them, and obviously if we don't beat them, it's unacceptable, we have to also be aware that they've got threats to carry. And like I say, County got to do a professional job tomorrow, and it'll be made more difficult by the fact that Louie Barry won't be involved, which, as I say, is a massive disappointment. But I want to get people's thoughts, and obviously I'm aware I've gone live maybe a little bit earlier for some people, so I probably haven't got the numbers in that I was hoping to have, but it's one of them things. But I just want to get people's opinions, and obviously people can comment afterwards. But yeah, people's opinions on how the game will go, and obviously what are people's thoughts on Louie Barry not being involved. Will miss out on the game tomorrow. Will miss out potentially on the game on Tuesday against Colchester, I see it as a bit of a blow, to be honest. But I think that, like I say, we managed to get wins without him for so long. So, uh, I'm sure we'll manage it. But I think another thing, another worry would be putting too much pressure on a player which has been out for since mid-October. It's a long amount of time. I mean, we're talking possibly 5 or 6 months. He's been out of the side. I think that putting a lot of pressure on him to come back in and seal the title for us almost. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. And I think that County are taking the right approach, even though it's not the popular approach, even though it's not the approach we want to hear. I think that we do have to be careful with him, and I think that's what Dave Chalner said. If actually I've got the quotes up from what he said when he spoke earlier. He said, "We're in dialogue with Aston Villa. We have a plan in place for him. They have a plan in place for him, and that's not going to be fast tracked. Is he going to be involved at the weekend? No." So that's quite definite from Dave Chalner that he will not be involved in the squad on Saturday, which is tomorrow. I have to keep reminding myself. And it will be possibly, Tuesday, more likely to be Tuesday if he's going to be involved at all in the next 2 games. It'll be Tuesday against Colchester. And whether or not he starts the game, I'm not too sure on that. I mean, that's a conversation, I suppose, nearer the time for Tuesday. But the way that he chucked Noyle in pretty quickly, I mean, Noyle, it was his first game back available against Forest Green, was it? And he came straight back in. So, surprising that he chucked him straight back in. Or was it against Forest Green's first game back? I don't think it can be. But the point being is he came back for the first opportunity ahead of Todd Kane. So that tells me that if he really feels that Louie Barry needs to come in, he might just chuck him in on Tuesday if he feels he's ready. But I would probably err on the side of having him on the bench. It's disappointing we can't have him on the bench against Sutton tomorrow, but it is what it is. Look, I mean, I don't know what the conversations go on behind the scenes between Stockport County and Aston Villa. I know that I'd assume there's a fairly good relationship there between us and Aston Villa, with obviously Barry being on loan there, and obviously we've had to communicate with them back and forth in terms of managing that injury recovery. And obviously we know that we brought in Rico Richards on loan in January, so you'd imagine the relationship between the two clubs is pretty strong. Having said that, when it comes down to it, they've still got to do what's best for them, and Stockport County have still got to do what is best for us. And he said before that Louie Barry will be pushing to try and be available as soon as possible for County. County obviously pushing for that as well, providing that Louie Barry is fit enough to play. And obviously, Louie Barry believes he's fit enough to play, and County obviously believe he's fit enough to play. But Aston Villa aren't happy to push him, which is fair enough. I suppose we've got to respect that decision. As frustrating as it is, as much as I would like to have seen him on the bench even tomorrow, because I think he could come on and have an impact. I mean, if he could have come off the bench even for 5-10 minutes and maybe got a goal, that confidence going into Tuesday would have been really good for him. But it is what it is, and it's it is a disappointment, because it felt to me like I've been going into this game throughout the week mainly thinking that he's going to be involved tomorrow, in some way, shape or form. So disappointing to hear that he's not. But look, this isn't the Louie Barry show, and I think this is again something we've got to be wary of at County, is not to make too much of a fuss over one player, especially a player that's on loan, because in 2 months' time he's probably not a Stockport County player, and whether or not a deal was done in the summer in terms of him going back on loan again with us, or maybe conversation over a permanent deal, which I think might be a bit too difficult for County to do, because I think that, if Louie Barry was up for sale, if Aston Villa were willing to sell him to Stockport County, they're going to want at least $1 million, and I don't know if Stockport County can afford that, because I think if we go up, which we should go up, the amount of money that's going to need to go in across the whole squad is going to be absolutely mega. So I can't imagine we're going to want to spend a large part of that on us, on Louie Barry alone. So be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously, we know he'll probably be involved on Tuesday now, which isn't tomorrow against Sutton. But I do think that tomorrow is a potential banana skin, because we know that they're fighting for points. We know how difficult it is at the moment. At the bottom of the table, just going to sort of get the League Two table up as well. Have a quick look just to remind myself where Sutton are at the moment. We know they're near the bottom, 22nd in League Two on 39 points, 3 points from bottom, but obviously just a point from safety. So it's going to be tricky going into this game. Obviously, they know that Colchester, who are behind them, have got 2 games over them as well, which makes it even more difficult, because we know that they're going to be aware that they need more points just to try and give themselves a chance of staying up, because Colchester have got them 2 games down. It probably or 2 or 3 games in hand, it probably means that Colchester. I mean, I think Colchester will be okay, to be honest. I think Colchester made a sensible appointment in January. I think that both them and Salford made good appointments in January, and I do think that both teams will stay up. And ultimately, and I said it in the mid-season prediction review as well, I said that even then that I think Sutton will go down with Forest Green, and that was maybe what, January, February kind of time. So I can't see too much change in between now and the end of the season in regards to the relegation battle in League Two. I think both them teams have been really, really poor, and I do expect that Sutton will be one of them teams that are relegated alongside Forest Green. However, tomorrow, if they get a result, that can change the approach to things, and it can suddenly look very different at the bottom if they can get a surprise result. And like I say, League Two can throw these surprises about when you least expect them. But ultimately, Stockport kind of got to do a professional job, and I do think we'll do that. And I do expect our key players to turn up, and I think we obviously saw that on Monday as well. I mean, what a brilliant goal it was from Odin Bailey as well. I mean, had he not had the confidence to go and take on that strike and to get us 1-0 up, I struggle to see where the goals would have come from. But I mean, having said that, players like Paddy Madden can step up as well, and I think Paddy Madden will be a key player for us again tomorrow. So if he starts the game, which in my opinion I think he should. In terms of Wootton as well, I think that's a conversation which has come up a bit recently. People aren't really having Cal Wootton as much as they were maybe possibly a year or so ago, maybe last season. Cal Wootton, I think, still scored about 6-7 league goals this season. I think 10 overall, which hasn't been a brilliant season for Wootton. I could be wrong on that. I think I've got the information prepared somewhere for the stats. So Wootton scored 6 goals in League Two so far this season, which isn't brilliant. It's not anywhere near the levels that he was putting in last season. And I think that there is a frustration with Wootton, I think, at the moment, where a lot of people feel, and I'm one of these people, feel that he's almost trying to get the opponent to foul him to try and draw a foul, rather than actually focusing on just trying to win the ball yourself, trying to go and score and create opportunities yourself. He's more bothered about trying to win fouls high up the pitch. And for me, it's a real problem at the moment with Cal Wootton. He doesn't seem to be as confident as he was as well. Obviously, we know that there's more competition this season in that position. Obviously, Lou Barry came in, provided competition. Wootton couldn't get in the side, albeit he was injured at that point in time. But obviously, Madden stepped up again, been brilliant this season. 10 league goals as well this season for him. Obviously, Sarcevic, Powell, these kind of players in the midfield area have chipped in with goals. Rico Richards has come in and started to look better over the last few games. So it's really highlighting the fact that Wootton isn't really getting as involved as I think he'd like to be, and I think that's been a frustration from his point of view. And I think there will be conversations with Wootton about what might happen in the summer, especially if County are promoted to League One. And I think a lot of people, I think with Wootton at the moment, it's very 50-50. You either love him or you hate him. And I mean, hate's a strong word, but you get what I'm saying. I think he's very, very much splitting the fan base at the moment, Cal Wootton, and it'll be interesting. I do think he'll start the game, to be honest. With Barry not being available for the game and being ruled out, I do think he'll probably go with Madden and Wootton to start with tomorrow, and it's still more than decent enough attack to go with to go out against Sutton, because we do expect to get a result against them. I mean, it's hard to predict the result really from this kind of game. I expect County to rack up a few goals. Obviously, we know we did that at Ledgley Park back in December. I'm probably go with a 3 or 4-0, to be honest, and I know that comes across a little bit possibly complacent. But I'd expect us to beat goals, to score goals against this kind of side. So I'd go with a 3-0, 3-0 score prediction, like we did against Forest Green. And I think Forest Green were really poor when we played them as well. So I do expect us to score goals in the game. I do expect us to win the game. It should be comfortable for us. But obviously we have to be prepared for the challenge. And hopefully County can secure them 3 points, which would put us a step closer to securing promotion and a step closer to win the title, which is obviously the bonus, really. And obviously promotion's the most important thing. And I think we will achieve that this season. It's just a case of whether or not we finish, in that top 3, third or second or first, top of the table. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out tomorrow. But I would expect a County win, and I expect a comfortable County win. And like I say, then it's a case of Colchester. 2 really difficult games back to back as well. I think one of them somewhere is going to be become a banana skin. So hopefully we can come through both of them unscathed, and hopefully come through both of them with all 6 points, which would obviously put us in a brilliant position in terms of securing automatic promotion, which is obviously the aim. And as I say, then it would put us a step closer to that title, which I still think we'll do. So yeah, I just wanted to get people's thoughts on this, but obviously, very, very happy to hear that Louie Barry will be back soon. Disappointed that he won't be back as soon as I'd like him to be back, but I do expect him to be back involved on Tuesday, and I do expect Stockport County to obviously get the win tomorrow, which obviously puts us in a brilliant position going into the run-in over the last few weeks. So just want to say thanks to people who have tuned in a little bit earlier, I suppose, than I think people would have been prepared for. But yeah, as I say, I'm delighted with the people that follow the channel, people that support the channel. Obviously, if you're new, do click the subscription button as well to be subscribed. My voice is getting there, but it's still not brilliant, so I'm going to cut it short. But as I say, thanks to those who have watched live, and obviously to those who will watch afterwards as well. If you are watching afterwards as well, don't forget to get your comments involved as well. I'll still try and read them. But as I say, for those who have watched live, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Hopefully Stockport County do have 3 points on the board tomorrow, so thanks for tuning in.